on to the Honorable Judge Ann Donnelly. Judge Donnelly was appointed to the U.S. District Court for the Eastern District of New York by President Barack Obama in 2015. She received her BA from the University of Michigan in 1981 and graduated from the Ohio State University Moritz School of Law in 1984. Prior to her appointment, Judge Donnelly served as a prosecutor in the New York County District Attorney's Office for 25 years, where she held positions of Senior Trial Counsel and Chief of the Family Violence and Child Abuse Bureau. From 2009 to 2015, she served as a judge on the New York Court of Claims. At the same time, Judge Donnelly served at various points on the New York Supreme Court in Bronx County, in Kings County, and New York County, as well as on a special term for election matters. And now,
as we all know, Judge Ann is very experienced. She was nominated by President Barack Obama, and you will have to put this like think a little hard when he says she was the chief of Family and Children Abuse Bureau, and will this be a factor in Robert's case, his upcoming trial? Also, I the way I look at it, you guys, I always say this, in a trial with jurors, not a judge trial, but a jury trial, I always say that the judge is the referee. The judge call technical fouls, might foul, might call timeout, might reject someone, or it's just like they are the people that keeps things under control, and playing that referee in the courtroom, on the court, as I say. And the referee, if someone's getting out of hand, they can step in and make a decision. Do you need to calm down? Do we need another time out? Do we need to adjourn for the day? And different things like that. So I always I look back and I'm like, okay, she's the judge, she's the referee. You will have 12 people to listen to the prosecutors and listen to the defense team, and it's up to the defense team to do their job and make the best argument. And I always say, make those 3-point shots, because I always say, try to make the 3 points. That's an extra shot for you, so you can be ahead when that fourth quarter ends. So I feel like hopefully she will be step in and be fair, and hopefully she will leave the situation that she dealt with in the past, and look at everything in the courtroom and listen to both sides, and just be fair, and remember, as she say later on in this Q&A, every case is important, and every attorney has to treat it as such, even if it's a misdemeanor.
The actual judging of the moot court to take place later this afternoon. And especially thank you very much to Judge Donnelly for stepping in at a very late hour to replace a cancellation that we had. We really appreciate you being here. So I thought we would start by hearing from our jurists a little bit about sort of their career and path to the bench, and sort of what brought them to their careers on the bench. And in particular, I think it would be interesting to know what, if anything, they found especially challenging about making the transition from practice to judging. And what, if anything, they know now about being a judge that they wish they had known back when they began, that they wish they could have told their earlier selves.
Well, I guess I'm in the sausage factory aspect of the judicial system as a trial judge. First of all, I'm so happy to be included in today's event. It's such an interesting topic. I always learn something from doing moot courts like this. So I'm from the Midwest, and I went to New York, and I never came back. So I've been in New York now for more than 35 years, almost 40 years. And I was a prosecutor for about 25 years as an appellate lawyer starting out, and then as a trial lawyer for a good portion of that. I don't remember what all the questions were, but I'm going to try to do my best. I'd say I think one of the questions was, what's the transition from being an advocate to being a judge? And I would say that the most important quality, which would probably serve you well as a lawyer too, is just being able to listen. Obviously be a good lawyer, but I find that I talk a lot less as a judge than I did as a trial lawyer. And that's because as Judge Ho said, I rely on lawyers to give me the foundation for the case, whether it's a factual foundation or a legal foundation. And then we do have just what could be characterized as a crushing caseload, I would say. Having been in state court, sometimes those caseloads are even worse. But we have a full complement of civil and criminal cases. And just one other thing that I've learned is that every case is important to someone. There's no case that is unimportant, and I recall that as a state court judge, if I would handle misdemeanor cases, sometimes people think they're not such important cases, but they are. And so I try to keep that in mind, that for litigants and for lawyers, these cases are all very important.
What I take from Judge Ann when she says all the way down to even a misdemeanor case, from what I'm listening, I'm thinking she's saying as an attorney, you need to go in there and represent your clients to the fullest, no matter if it's a misdemeanor or a hard crime. So she's saying that we need these attorneys to represent their clients the best of their ability. That's my take on that part.
And then the other thing that I try to keep in mind is that having been a courtroom lawyer for such a long time, I have vivid recollections of being yelled at by judges. I think that happened more in the 80s and the 90s than it does now. I'm not positive. But I do remember that it didn't feel very good to be yelled at or embarrassed in court. And so I do try to remember what it's like to be a litigant and how much work you have to do to prepare for your cases. So I hope I'm not mean to anybody, but just trying to remember how it felt to be an advocate.
That's great.
I don't know, Judge, and a few of your hearings, listening in, I think you was having flashbacks on you're remembering your situation with the judge being yelled at. So I think you were reminiscing.
What are the things that advocates do in front of you that you think are particularly effective or particularly ineffective? What makes for an especially good or bad advocate in your court?
Well, one thing that I always tell people is that there are 1,000 roads to God. There are 1,000 roads to be, 1,000 ways to be a good lawyer. So it's not always being the most flashy person in the room, but the critical tools that you can bring to your job as an advocate are preparation for your case, which always shows, and being straightforward with the judge or with the jury about what the record is, and making your case persuasively. I've sat on the Second Circuit a few times as a visiting judge, and I'm always most impressed by people that speak plainly, but have a thorough knowledge of the record. One other thing that I don't find particularly helpful, I really don't like it when lawyers, I don't know, fight is the right word, but sometimes people feel very passionate about their position, and sometimes they don't treat each other very well. I find that not helpful. In written submissions, when things are underlined or in all caps, or somebody using the word outrageous. So I sometimes think you have to just remember that the judge doesn't always want to hear that. But I would say the number one thing is being prepared. Just knowing the record of your case, knowing the case law is the most important quality that you can bring to an effective argument or trial.
This Q&A seminar was held May the 5th, 2021, and all the shenanigans with Robert's defense team, I think it was started around June the 8th, and I'm like, did they see this Q&A seminar with Judge Ann? I'm like, is Judge Ann psychic? Did she know what was coming up into the future of this case with Robert Sylvester Kelly? Because she's speaking on a lot of things that took place with the tele hearing with Robert Sylvester Kelly's defense team, and she's basically saying that you need to have knowledge. And when she listening into the hearing for Robert Sylvester Kelly's case, you can hear the kind of frustration she had. She will always, to me, I felt like she was trying to throw hints at Greenberg and the team, trying to get them knowledge on, what they need to do. And to me, I felt like she felt like, I don't think this attorney is, doing what he's supposed to do as an attorney, with, quotes and, sites and, looking for different, a lot of attorneys, they would go in and, give an insight of a past trial, and things like that, or a rule in the law, and things like that, and, make their arguments with that. And, so, I noticed she would, try to throw hints and, like she's trying to teach them some things. And so she said she don't like when the, attorneys are disagreeing and, and stuff like that. So, I was like, let me just, do some, research on her and not just hear her from what I've been listening in on, Robert's hearings. I just wanted to do my research and hear her, speak, and what is her beliefs, and and things like that.
To ask now about sort of parts of your docket, the types of cases that arise in front of you. And I'm curious whether there are particular parts of the docket, maybe particular subject matter areas of cases or types of cases that you find particularly difficult or challenging in some regard, or parts of the docket, maybe it's the same, that you find especially interesting or especially rewarding in some regard. Certain types of cases that you have particularly strong feelings towards, given the different types of dockets that I assume your courts experience.
Well, we had a little chat about this before this session, and for me, and I think for most of my colleagues on the district court, the hardest thing that I have to do is sentence someone. That is, it is just very emotional experience for the person being sentenced, and for the person's family, and for the community in which we live, and determining what is an appropriate sentence in a criminal case, I find to be just quite difficult. And it makes you think about to what extent incarcerating someone is a solution to the problem, and to what extent you need to protect the community. You think about, as I said before, just the kind of radiating effect that incarceration can have on a family. When a district judge sentences somebody, we very often have letters from family members and friends, and they're very important to me to try to get a picture of the person who's appearing before me. In the district court, most cases are resolved by plea. And so we don't always have the opportunity to see the person in our courtrooms all that often before the person enters a plea. So the input from a person's family and people that know that person become very important. So that's the kind of difficult cases. The other part that's difficult but also fascinating is that I think other judges have referenced this before, is that we are generalists. And so every day we are seeing something different, and something new, something that I've never encountered before. I was a prosecutor for 25 years. I did not really encounter patent law very often at the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. So learning about new areas of law is something that's extremely challenging and makes for long hours. But it's why we have judges on one judge on our court who's going to be 100 this year, Judge Weinstein, and I think this is what keeps us going. So I hope I answered that question. I think I did.
Very interesting. So is this why she needs Robert to be at the pre-trial hearing? She wants to, get the vibes, and just looking at him, and just trying to get the feel of Robert Sylvester Kelly, and that's me. When I'm around a person, I can feel the vibe, and I can like immediately tell is this person genuine, just different things. You get feeling, a person by their reactions, and you just want to talk to them, and and get the feel of them, and look at them face to face, look into their eyes, and body language, and different things like that. So I think that's important as well.
And so I guess I wanted to ask, first of all, sort of what role do clerks play? How do you, employ your clerks? How do you interact with them, and kind of what do you want them to do with your cases? And then also, what do you look for in a law clerk? What makes a good law clerk in your chambers?
I should start by saying that I would never have hired myself as a clerk, but so I feel very fortunate in the clerks that I have had. Um, the most important thing to me as a district judge is to move my cases so litigants get decisions as efficiently and quickly as possible with the correct result. And with the caseload that we have, that is a big challenge. So when my clerks help me to do that, make sure that there's not something that's been sitting on the calendar too long, or something that maybe in another case could wait, but in terms of the particular case has to be decided or should be decided quickly. I also rely on my clerks to give me their practical take on a case. I want to know what they think about it. And like Judge Ho, I want them to make sure I'm not doing the wrong thing. I want to make sure I haven't missed something, that I'm reading the cases wrong, that the Second Circuit is going to reverse me, or that I'm just making the bad decision, a bad decision for the parties. I could not function without them. In terms of what I look for, I always hire law clerks that have had some practical experience, because I think that as wonderful as the educations are that we get in law schools, once you're out in the world and you're really, putting your skills to work, I think you learn so many things that you never would have expected when you were in law school. So I look for somebody with a little bit of experience, and I look for people that that are, in addition to being brilliant, which all of you are, and all of my law clerks are, that they get along with people and that they are good listeners too. And as I say, if you have a heavy docket, you've got to be able to move it, and you've got to be able to get things done pretty fast. So somebody that can handle all that is critical to getting the work done well.
I do understand that. I miss you, Brenda. I miss you. They're very important. Brenda, she knew, like, she didn't even have to come and talk to me because she knew me so well, and she knew what my answer would be. And, she was like, I took care of this, and, do you want me to do that? She just real sweet. I mean, oh my God, so sweet. I miss you, Brenda. But yeah, it's important to have, some help.
I'm wondering if you might be willing to share a moment from your career, maybe as a clerk or lawyer, advocate, time in government, that you feel informs your approach to being a judge, and maybe taught you a lesson about how to be a thoughtful and effective lawyer.
When I was in the Bronx Supreme Court, we heard all kinds of cases, felonies, misdemeanors, and at one point they had combined the misdemeanor and felony docket, which was a terrible idea, but that's not the point of the story. There was a man who was accused of turnstile jumping. The Bronx Supreme Court is the busiest place imaginable. Courtrooms are crowded. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And this man's lawyer had not come. One thing I could have done was just put the case over so the man would come back another day. But I just decided I wasn't going to do that. So I appointed a new lawyer from the audience. And the lawyer was trying to get him to just take a plea to it's a violation. It's not a criminal conviction, but you have to pay a fine. It's not cheap. And the man was just sitting there, and then he said, well, Judge, I've come back here so often, and I have this paper, and the paper showed that he was using a Metro card, that he'd paid the subway fare. He didn't do it. And nobody had bothered. I'm not saying I was so fabulous, but nobody had checked this. And the guy had come back to court, these many times, and somebody was going to have him just plead to something so he would pay this fee. And I just remember thinking to myself, be careful, be careful when you are making these decisions, even in a case that doesn't seem so important. And it really was something that I've never stopped thinking about that case, about just that. And then, of course, it took moving mountains to get the district attorney's office to dismiss it. But that was my powers of persuasion. But anyway, it made me think, made me realize, I think it's something I always knew, but you just have to be careful. I mean, and that's a little tiny thing, but it sort of relates to my view that, and everybody's view, is that every case means something to somebody. And so I don't know what lesson I learned from that, except that I just think about it. It's something that I always think about as a judge. So that's mine.
Very interesting, viewers. I was like, I was so emotional, at the listening to the hearing, and I'm like, wow, she just cut him off, and wow, she didn't allow him to talk, and oh my God, she is, this, and she is that, and this is wrong, and we need to try to, remove her. And today I had, time to just think, just sit down and think. And I just was thinking, I'm like, you know what, do a little more research and find out a little more about this judge. So when she said that, and she stopped Robert and she said, you have attorneys. And basically I'm like, okay, she's wanting him, to let his attorneys talk. And, because we do have this saying, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you. So I, just listening here, with the Q&A, the seminar, I'm like, okay, she was talking about the ticket, and she was like, let me check this out, and the attorney was trying to get this person to plead, just to pay a fine, and she went another route with it, and she said it's stuck in her head. So I'm like, did this situation make her speak out to stop Robert from talking? And then I was like, okay, with the situation with appointing someone to give Robert some knowledge on conflict of interest and what's going on with his attorneys, and she knows that he's have some learning disabilities, and so she probably was like, let me step in because things are out of hand here with the attorneys, and let me try to be assistant for Robert Sylvester Kelly. So that's why I was like, sometimes you have to get to know a person. I'm still doing my research, but listening to this, I'm better understanding certain things that happen at the hearings for him. And so I'm like, oh wow, she didn't have to just even step in. She could have been like, okay, this is a circuit that's between them, I'm gonna stay out of this. But she played referee. And so that was very interesting when I was hearing her say that. I'm like, oh wow. So viewers, y'all leave y'all, drop your comments down below, because I felt like this was very important, to do, because I know me, sometimes I get emotional, and even when I hear something, happening with the case, breaking news, and so I overreact. It's, and I'm like, you have to get over that. Just hear the news, talk about it a little bit, and tell the viewers let me give some more facts, which I always do. I'm like, well, I overreact, but I need to stop overreacting. Let's talk about it, and then, you know, as it unfold, I get more and more information because you always see me. I always end up coming back, speaking on it. So it's always good to try to, get full details of, things. Today it was just something like God or someone, my thoughts was like, give this lady a benefit of a doubt, do a little more research, just do a little more research. So now let's rewind back to May the 6th, 2015, the Senate confirmation hearing with Ann Dutton. Okay, she was in the presence of a woman of color judge as well as two Caucasian judges, male judges, which we already know the outcome of that. She was confirmed to become that judge for the district. So I found it very interesting, the interview that she did in 2015, May the 6th, and then she did the Q&A May the 5th of 2021 this year. I'm just looking at stuff like that. But we're going to look at what she said back then and compare some things on what she said this year, May the 5th. So let's go ahead and hear the questions and hear her answers. And I want everybody to drop your comments down below. I'm pretty sure I know what half of you are gonna say, but just drop your comments down below and tell me, what do you think and how you feel about Ann and her answers to the question.
Judge Anne Marie Donnelly, who currently serves in the New York State Courts. Judge Donnelly is a graduate of the University of Michigan, received her JD from Ohio State University College of Law. Upon graduation, Judge Donnelly joined the New York County DA's office, one of the finest state prosecutor offices in the nation. She served for a quarter of a century, and her reputation there is legendary. When you mention that you know Ann Donnelly to anyone who served in D.A. Morgenthau's office, one of the finest DA's office in the country, they say she was one of the best. She is really admired, even though she's been out of that office for quite a while now. She accumulated recognitions and awards along the way. She worked in the Appeals Bureau and appeared regularly in the Appellate Division and the New York Court of Appeals. In 1989, she was assigned to the Major Offense Career Criminal Program, a specialized bureau that targeted repeat offenders and violent felons. And 2 years later, Judge Donnelly was promoted to Senior Trial Counsel and became a member of the Sex Crimes Prosecution Unit. In 2005, she was named Bureau Chief of the Family Violence and Child Abuse Bureau. And in 2009, she joined New York State's Court of Claims. Over the past 6 years, her assignments have the Supreme Courts, which is what New York calls its trial courts, of 3 different counties, including New York County, where she currently serves, hearing criminal cases. Her stellar academic record, her lengthy career in public service, years she has spent honing her judicial acumen, all clearly qualify Judge Donnelly as an excellent candidate for the bench. However, Judge Donnelly has more than just a brilliant resume. She is at her core a kind, thoughtful, and compassionate person. Anyone who knows her or who has interacted with her even briefly knows she is fair and open-minded, has the temperament to make her well-suited to be a federal judge. She cares about the law and the legal profession. In addition, her many years of judicial and government service, in addition to those, she has helped cultivate the next generation of lawyers. She's a fellow in the American College of Trial Lawyers, regularly judges mock trials and moot court competitions. She serves as a judge for the Jerome Prince Memorial Moot Court competition at Brooklyn Law School. She's even on the advisory board for the Thurgood Marshall mock trial program. That's for 7th and 8th grade students as they prepare and try a criminal case. And I also must add, Mr. Chairman, she meets with the confirmation of Judge Donnelly and Ms. D.R.C. Hall from the Eastern District. Our bench will remain one of the most diverse judicial districts in the country. So, and I want to say one more thing. She has a great family, because I know Ann well, and she'll introduce them, but it's a great sight to see them all from all over Pennsylvania, Massachusetts. She was raised in Ohio. Her father was a mayor. He's looking down from heaven and very proud, I know that.
My goodness, Chuck is so proud of Judge Ann Marie. You know, she has a long experience, a list of, you know, being involved in some of everything. Big family, you know, a long, impressive resume. So we're going to listen to her questions, and like I said, just drop how you feel down below.
I believe that the constitutionality of the death penalty is well settled, and it is deemed constitutional.
And if confirmed, would you be able to impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant if required by law?
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
Y'all already know I had to throw one in there because I'm listening at this and I'm like, Your Honor, you like, she want to poison, she want to fry, she wants to kill him. And I'm like, no wonder your tail is not.
And Judge Donnelly, from your questionnaire, it appears that you have limited experience with civil matters, either in practice or as a judge. If confirmed as a federal district court judge, you'll be presiding over both civil and criminal matters. What have you done or will you do to prepare yourself for that side of the law?
Thank you for that question, Senator Tillis. In my 25 years as an assistant district attorney and in my 6 years as a state court judge, I've been lucky to have been challenged by very complicated cases and have been required to get up to speed quickly on issues that I wasn't previously familiar with, such as complex securities, fraud, white-collar cases, and violent crime as well. With respect to getting up to speed on civil matters, I am committed to hitting the ground running. I plan to take advantage of all of the resources that are offered by the Federal Judicial Center, as well as consulting with my colleagues on the federal bench, and I look forward to that challenge.
Judge Donnelly, as the chair said, you have a lot of experience in criminal cases, not just in your current role as judge, but in your career as a prosecutor. But nonetheless, I'd imagine that sentencing convicted defendants must be one of the most difficult jobs that you face as a judge. Could you talk about the approach you take to sentencing and how that has been informed by your time as a prosecutor, and looking forward, how you would balance the need for sentencing with the need for rehabilitation in particular cases?
Thank you for that question, Senator Franken. Yes, you are correct that imposing sentence in a criminal case is among the most difficult tasks that a judge faces. And the factors that the judge is obligated to consider when determining the sentence to impose includes many factors: the severity of the crime, the effect on the community of where I am currently sitting in Manhattan, the effect on the particular victim, and the defendant's background as well. The cases that I have been presiding over most recently often involve devastating crimes to our communities involving gang violence and murders, and the sentences are necessarily heavy. But frequently in our courts we see very young defendants, and that is the place where I believe that our judicial system has the opportunity to perhaps turn someone around. In New York, you have the opportunity of affording a defendant youthful offender treatment, which I have done on many occasions. It's certainly a risk to the that a judge takes when you do that, but it is certainly one of the tools that you have to perhaps save someone from what is bound to be a life of crime if they're not turned around.
You hear me say this a lot when it comes to, the system. What are we doing other than just locking them away? Are we looking deep into their lives and seeing what caused this and what is going on and what can we do to help this person? If we can help this person, let's get them help. And, I speak of this all the time. I'm like, I'd rather see a person, get treatment. Let's find out what's going on, mentally. What's going on to cause this situation with you, and let us help. I'd rather see that. And the people that's locked up now, I feel like it's so many in there could have made a difference, in the world. We get these people, fixed up, and some might just need an education, some might just need a job, some might just need rehab, or some might need counseling, just different things. And that's how we should do this, so I guess Judge Ann is speaking on getting people help, and and so they can turn their lives around. So we'll see.
Ms. Hall. Judge Donnelly, can you identify any mistakes you made early in your judicial career that will help you as you transition into the federal judgeship?
Well, the transition from advocate to a judge is definitely a learning curve, and I haven't cataloged the mistakes that I've made. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they exist. But my judicial philosophy, in my 6 years on the New York Supreme Court, has been one of a fidelity to the rule of law, a respect for the people who appear before me, according every witness, litigant, a juror, dignity, making sure that my rulings are transparent so that the reasoning is clear, and a work ethic which involves a thorough knowledge of the applicable law and the factual record. And I believe that adherence to that philosophy minimizes the mistakes that a judge is apt to make.
Respect for the people who appear before me is what she is saying. She is saying that she wants to give anyone who steps in that courtroom in front of her, she wants to give them respect. She wants everybody, she doesn't care who it is, she wants to give everyone respect. So we're going to continue on to the next question.
Judge Donnelly, thank you for your service. And I know that you actually also, in your very extensive background here, you were chief of the Family Violence and Child Abuse Bureau in the New York District Attorney's Office, and you saw firsthand the challenges we face in this country with the scourge of domestic violence and child abuse. I worked on those as a prosecutor for 8 years, those issues, and I know your docket will be different now, but how does that experience inform your future as a federal judge, if and when, and we hope you will be confirmed?
Thank you for that question, Senator Klobuchar. You are right that these are among the most difficult cases to prosecute with domestic violence victims and with child abuse victims, challenges in identifying the victims, many of whom are financially dependent on their abusers, challenges with very young victims, and many steps have been taken. It's been some time since I've been active in that role, but the use of child advocacy centers where a child abuse victim gets all services at one location without the need for multiple interviews. And having the opportunity to work with those children was one of the most meaningful and affecting experiences of my life. To see children who have suffered so much to have been so resilient and so able to survive unimaginable situations. I hope that it will make me a better judge. I feel that it has in my 6 years on the Supreme Court. I'm very lucky to have had that chance, and I thank you for the question.
Judge Donnelly, like I mentioned before, was the chief in Family and Children Abuse Bureau. And so you hear the judge mention women that were victims who depended on their spouses. And so I thought about Andrea Lee. And I'm like, okay, we hear Andrea Lee. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any money to spend, and I had to depend on him. I lived without a dime, but we see her, with shopping bags, pictures of, with her shopping and, and things like that. So, with Andrea Lee. And then you have $50 million allegedly. Let's just say through the divorce, she received $5 million to $50 million in between there. So even if it was $5 million, still that was a lot of money to manage her children. So we have Andrea Lee going on bashing my ex-husband campaign and speaking on him and using her daughter to say that he's not paying his child support, and she didn't finish her last year of school. And I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so we're gonna not send our daughter to school so you can look bad. I mismanaged her money. I'm paying this man paying $60,000 a month, and I cannot even pay her tuition last year out of my $5 million to $50 million divorce settlement, and I couldn't send her to school. Or if I'm just dead broke and I threw away millions of dollars, I didn't even want to get a grant or a student loan for her because I want this man to look bad. And that's how I saw that, with that. So, no excuses for Andrea Lee with this, her daughter's not going to school, you hating this guy this bad. And so I'm saying this to say, if Andrea Lee will stoop that low because she hate her ex-husband because he wasn't paying attention to her. So if we remember, Andrea Lee went to that party. He didn't give her any attention, along with Ashanti McGee, let's just say alleged, but we saw the films. And so, he moved on, with his girlfriends. Let me say women friends, because sometimes, we used to saying girlfriend, we used to saying girl, we just can't say it no more. You have to just say women, ladies, whatever. But, so when, I see this, I'm like, will she be fair? Will she referee fair? Because you know how, when we watch the game, we're like, oh, the referee helped them win, and things like that. So my question is, will she be fair? We have also the prosecutors that also, were advocates for domestic violence and things like that, as well as Nicole Blanker. I hope I'm saying her last name right. So as well as Nicole, she was also in that category. So we have these three women, and I'll just say if Nicole is still representing, well, if she still would be representing Robert. So we have these three women in this category of domestic violence and, and things like that. So this is going to be very interesting because now we have an attorney that's going to represent someone, represent the defendant, the accuser, the accused. I mean, she's gonna be representing the accused, and that's Robert Sylvester Kelly. And what he's accused of, they're saying he is this womanizer. He is a narcissist. He wants to rule these women. He wouldn't allow them to do this. He wouldn't allow them to do that. Then you have allegations from Andrea Lee, and then you have the allegations from Azriel Clary. So, you know, we have all these different things, put before the judge and the jury. So it's going to be very interesting. Is when you've been following this, I don't even want to call it a case anymore. When you follow this circus, this mess, this shenanigans, I mean, it's just so much going on, you know, and a lot of people wouldn't understand it if they have not followed it from the beginning. And so if you followed it from the beginning, it's going to be a long ways to catch up, because just like a series, and you know, and you never sat down and watched it from the beginning, and someone's telling you about it, and then you're like, oh, okay, I got to start over, and then you have this long ways to go. That is so how much stuff has been happening in this this mess. I can't even call it a case. I can't even call it indictment. I can't call it nothing like that right now, because just everything has been a mess. Everything has been out of order. No due process for him. His civil rights has been violated. Just constitutional rights has been violated. Just so much stuff. You know, you just can't. You just be like, wake me up. Is this happening for real? You know, so that's the kind of thing that, you know, we're dealing with this these allegations on Robert Sylvester Kelly, and how things are unfolding and shocking things. We got people that just coming from out of the woodworks and trying to advocate for the Clarys and the Ashantis and the Savages, and just the Pace, and just everybody, and reading the hell out of Robert Sylvester Kelly's indictment. And I be damned, this person has an indictment of his own, which he pleaded guilty for, you guys. And with that, he is, you know, when we listening on the hearing, this guy, you know, the judge was like, he is cooperating with, you know, the state, the federal and state. Okay, so the people that's been following this here, and I'll just call it the lifetime of lies, you know, we know what cases they're talking about, and that's the Robert Sylvester Kelly's case. And so, you know, you just keep digging and you keep digging, and you just sit back and you put stuff to the side, and you just wait a little more, because you have your you know, you scratching your head on it like, oh, okay, something's not right about this. And then you wait a little longer, and boom, you're right. So now we have someone by the name of Cash Jones. Cash Jones wrote the book Daddy's Little Freak, and in Daddy's Little Freak, you know, I'll just say alleged, you know, the Lifetime of Lies took some things out of that to start this docu-series of lies and fabrications, and, you know, different things like that. And excuse me for not going in alphabetical order, because this shenanigans is not in alphabetical order. It is all over the place. So forgive me if I'm not saying it in alphabetical order. But anyway, we have this lady, Miss Jones, that was, you know, we would say alleged, planted in this here, and she is in a world of mess. So with Cash Jones, she's playing both fields, and you know, I'm pretty sure you know Angelo Clary, Azriel Clary's father, hashtag stepfather. I mean, he said my stepdaughter, And I remember listening in the conversation he had with a blogger, and I'm listening real good, and I'm like, oh wow, he just says stepdaughter. So I did a video of that, different things, Angelo Clary was saying. And one thing he said was stepdaughter. So I put that in there, and I repeated it, I think like 5 times, trying to get the viewers' attention. And so I think, Tasha K talked about it this year. I talked about it last year, okay? So she's a big blogger, so everybody, took word of it, like, oh, stepdaddy. I'm like, okay, yo, that's old. But anywho, that was good that she put it out there, but this lady fell in love with a married man, Angelo Clary. His wife is Alice Clary. And so, allegedly, they were not together. You wasn't seeing her. She went MIA. And so I guess in between the situation, Angelo probably was telling her, look, this is not a good look. We need to be together. We need to stay together. We need to stay together as a family. He went on a smash Cash Jones campaign because she played a tape with Angelo Clary, saying he wants to lay between her legs. And so now we have Angelo Clary, just going on this campaign, which he said that they are for the women. We are here, we advocating for the women. No one should be talking to women like that. I don't care what a woman has done to you to make you mad. You have no business talking to a woman like that. And he talked about her like a dog, called her stupid, called her retarded, and said she's not a good mother. I wouldn't have her for nothing in the world. And then he said he used her. So basically, he played her. I remember interviews Cash Jones has done with, I think her, I can't get her name, Phases, the next level. And she was on there, and she was on a rampage, and she was screaming and yelling with Don Russell. Don Russell is the friend and advisor for Robertson vs. Kelly. And that is another story in itself. He is in an indictment as well. They're trying to link Robert and Don Russell together in this indictment. Allegedly, he's supposed to have been doing a bomb threat, a gun threat, for the Lifetime Lies screening. And Don Russell, also they tried to use my video to say that Don Russell showed a nudity picture, which I went back on, and I'm like, this is what the prosecutors are trying to do, and they're trying to paint the narrative to these potential jurors that's out there that's watching the mainstream media, but they need to come on into the light. They need to come on into the social media light. This is where it's all at. This is where it's all happening. This is where it's all unfolding, and these are where we're pointing the lies out from the truth. And so I wanted to show everyone this interview, and I'm not even gonna say it was an interview, but every time when something unfolds, I'm like, I need to make some phone calls, and I call Mr. Russell to come on the platform to speak. And so basically, as a friend, you have Mr. Russell trying to prove to people, because now I know I'm jumping, like I said, everything will be out of order, but hey, just watch the videos. Go back and watch the videos, and you'll understand what I am talking about. But so anyway, I'm looking at this. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? And so you have the Mr. Russell showing the people now. Faith Rogers is lying here. It was a consensual relationship. And what he was showing us was legal documentation that was put together by him, other people, with knowledge of the situation, and an attorney to do a cease and desist. So they wanted to show this woman engaging in, video sexing with Robert. She's in a whole different state. If this woman was felt in danger of her life, if she felt like this man has raped her and did her so wrong, and gave her this alleged herpes, she wouldn't be still reaching out to him. okay? And so in the video, it was a total nudity video, but a screenshot of just a little bit, and they show more on regular TV now. So no full nudity pictures, but it was just a little glance of, you know, to show, you know, these attorneys and show the judge. So what person would be so stupid enough to show a naked picture like that? So I compared what he showed, and basically, and really he wasn't even trying to show that. He was just basically showing the text messages, you know, this is what, you know, she's saying, you know, she's engaging in the conversation with him. She, you know, she's saying she loved him. And so she was enticing him. I say she was enticing him, you know. And, you know, I love you, and let's make this right. Things like that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, all of this, the cease and desist took place because of a letter, a blackmail letter. The attorney in Faith Rogers allegedly tried to blackmail Robert Sylvester Kelly. So, you know, he got tested. Oh, no, it's not me, you know. And so, allegedly, you know, Faith Rogers, you know, tries to get back in his life, you know, let's, you know, make it right, you know, and yada yada. And so another attorney, as we speak, her attorney, she's a female, African-American female. She had an indictment, you know, fraud and, you know, and different things like that. So it shows you what they are capable of doing. So if her attorney had these indictments for, you know, fraud and, you know, and different things like that, so just imagine what she was doing to harm, you know, Robert Sylvester Kelly to get her piece of the pie. So it's a lot going on with this Lifetime of Lies series. I can go on and on and on, but this will be on the next one. I can tell you about Jerronda Johnson Pace. You know, Jerronda Johnson Pace, she was a stalker fan who skipped school. She was 14 years old, and she got a fake ID, put on her a wig, and she hung out in front of the news crew, the journalists, and Jim Derek Gaddis, and his friend that was taking the pictures. So I find it odd, and for the people that's new to this, they're just deciding to go in and look on around and see what's going on. In this case, if you go back and look at Jim Derek Gaddis interviews, and if you go back and you look at all these pictures of the fans, and the only fan that you see in the Robert Sylvester Kelly's 2008 trial, you will see her. Even with the lady saying, he's a good man, and I'm here to film, you know, who you see bouncing in the camera with her red wig and her sign, her magazine with Robert's face. He's innocent. He's innocent. So we have a 14-year-old with a fake ID. The ID good enough to get you into a federal building. She gets into the courtroom. She gets past the security guard. She go through security check. She gets her spectator badge. She sits in the courtroom every day. Every day. Not in school, but she's sitting in the courtroom every day. So you're hanging with her. So you have this, I call it the 2008 trial friend, hanging with her. So she probably didn't see it as that either. You know, she ain't going to school. She been here every day. You know, she ain't missed a day. She's been here, and she's sitting here, and she got through with an ID. I'm looking at her, show her ID. We have her in front of the news reporter. I'm 18 and I have my ID to prove it. So like I was telling everybody, why do you have to prove to the news reporter and everybody else that you are 18 with an ID to prove it? She was trying to see how far she can go. I'm gonna see how far I can get. Let me try out here in front of the the journalists and the news reporters and, the fans of Robert Sylvester Kelly and, and everybody else. And let me see how far I can go with this ID out here before I swerve my way to the security check. So I always ask people this: if the judge didn't know, the officers that checked the ID didn't know, the spectators that were sitting beside her didn't know, okay? The attorneys didn't know. Even the prosecutor, but like her, didn't know. And she was the pro in analyzing and, kids and sex crimes and different things like that. So she didn't know what child was sitting in the courtroom. So it's very interesting, you guys. So we have this Geronda Johnson Pace, and then she says later on, after sitting in that courtroom watching everything and hearing, different things about lawsuits and Susan Logan, that is another story in itself, okay? Susan Logan, Gerald McDavis, a whole pair in itself. See, that's why I say I'm not in alphabetical order, because it's all over the place. You hear me? Because when I talk about one, then I think about the other. So we have Bubba, and his name is Jermaine. Geronda Johnson Pace said her and Jermaine was MySpace buddies. So she got in contact with Bubba, okay? Jermaine. So if you don't know who Jermaine is and Bubba was one of Robert's buddies, okay? So we all know with these entourage, when they're hanging around celebrities, they love to take pictures. So I'm pretty sure on Bubba Jermaine's MySpace, he had pictures of Robert Sylvester Kelly. So lo and behold, she sees that. Okay, here we go. So now we're going to conversate about tattoos. My friend wanted to get a tattoo. So we have Geronda Pace switching up the story as if she met Robert first and Jermaine last. Okay, whatever, girl, whatever. Whatever. So we get this in touch with this buddy of Robert's, and Bubba invites them to a party. So I'm gonna go back to the trial situation first. So we have a witness, her 2008 trial friend, give us details by details because she's with her. She tells Geronda Johnson Pace about Robert, goes on lunch break and he goes to his tour bus and he eats. And he is parked at this park. So we have the trial friend, which she was a super fan as well. Beat Robert, matter of fact, beat him to the tour bus. They leaves out, and that sounds so familiar, y'all. That happened during this the hearings and stuff here, you guys. We had groupies, running to his hotel before he gets there, meeting and pretending that they are the leader of the support group. Okay, a long story, like I said, 2 years of this, okay? And it ain't even in order, and I'm not even giving it to you in alphabetical order. And I'm not giving it to you in 1, 2, 3, okay? So, Geronda Pace, she makes sure she is known, okay? Her face is there at the courtroom. All the spectators leave out. Everybody leaves out. Jerronda Pace, she wants to sit there and make sure her face is shown. She want to Robert Sylvester Kelly to remember her face. Okay? So the judge, the sheriff tell them to go into the elevators, lady, get out of here, because they were about to get into it in the hall. You know, another spectator. You know, I don't know what Jerronda Pace said to her, but she said she would snatch that damn spectator badge off her ass, okay, and take it from her. So, Robert comes out. She waves at Robert. Get your ass in there. You know, get in there. So she's just making sure she's there. She's making sure she's the last person to leave out. So that's suspect in itself. It's also suspect in itself that Jim Gaddis' friend was taking pictures of Jerronda Pace. It's suspect that Jim Gaddis reaches out to Jerronda Johnson Pace after the fact, after the trial. That is some suspect mess, okay? And I'm trying not to curse. This has been so much of a whirlwind. You will say every curse word in the book because you be so frustrated in this mess. So Jim Gaddis, you know, friend, you know, taking pictures. And I'm like, this is so damn strange. Where the other damn fans at? Where are they? Why all I see is Jerronda Johnson Pace. She's standing in the middle of the road. Jerronda Johnson Pace with her little red wig, hugging on Robert's, you know, article. We have Jerronda Johnson Pace walking next to Robert. This is weird as hell, because at the same time, how are these people getting so close to somebody like Robert Sylvester Kelly? And I'm talking about the brand now, R.Kelly. I'm talking about the brand. How did his people allow people to get that close to him? You know. And so later on, I think she said, you know, Jerronda Johnson Pace in 2009, she went to the party. She gets into the party and, you know, she gets with Robert Sylvester Kelly. She says that they had oral sex, and later on she said she told him that she was 16, and he told her to continue to pretend that you're 19. So I'm looking at it like this, and I'm gonna break it down like this, and this is how I see it, because this is how I see the blackmail. She had intention. Her intentions was to do what she did, and that was to get a lawsuit. You go in claiming that you're 19. You're claiming that you're 19. And I'll just say if. This is a if. If she had sex with, you know, sexual encounters, entanglements, intercourse, whatever Jerronda Johnson Pace claimed to have had with Robert Sylvester Kelly. After the fact, after you get the evidence, you know, hairs, saliva, you know, semen, you know, whatever, hell. I am 16 years old, you know, and I hear, you know, the rumors are so good, you know, because they say it's so easy to sue you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to Susan Logan. So you guys, Susan Logan is friends with Jeremy Davis. That was Robert's manager that robbed Robert Sylvester Kelly blind. And he and Susan Logan, who is an attorney, but she's an attorney now, you know, trying to sue hospitals for the, you know, wrongful death, and, you know, kids that's being born with Down syndrome, and, you know, different things like that. She got her loose. She got her 1/3 and then some, you know, from Robert. And she was like, okay, it's getting too sloppy now. Let me jump ship. She jumped ship. She's no longer in it. So we have people like Gloria Allies and people like this damn Michael Avenatti that's meeting Kim Fox on planes and stuff, trying to get convictions, because now we have Michael Avenatti that has been found guilty of his blackmail and stuff because he was working on those Claris and these Pace, Geronda Pace, so he can get his stuff out of debt, get his taxes paid, so he can pay his law firm off. You know, it's just like I said, y'all, it's all over the damn place, okay? All over the place. So back to Geronda Johnson Pace. Geronda Johnson Pace, she is going to these people for this lawsuit, and of course we will have Sony, and it is alone, like I said, it's all over the place. We have Sony, okay. Just give the hood rat that little change, and because we got money to make. And, you know, these big money machines don't give a damn. They just want you to make money. That's just like the NFL and you know, all these sports and everywhere else. Just make my money here. And then when shit get too bad, I'm kicking you off my rosters. You done made enough money for me. I'm going to kick you off my roster. But go ahead and just let her have it. Let the crumb snatcher have it. You know, she going to spend it up and shit, and she don't know what to do. That's his crumbs. Give it to her and go about your business. You know, just like they did Michael Jackson and they did so many other artists, you know, like that. And so then you get broke, and then you want to come back for some more. But honey, the way I see it, y'all done been paid. If you ain't with to get your counseling, if you ain't use the money to better your life and go to school, whatever the hell, bye. Okay, now she's trying to sell stretch mark creams, and she's trying to sell books and shit. I don't want to hear shit you gotta say. Geronda Johnson Pace, and after all this mess here went down, and I'm gonna tell you like this, and I told y'all this is a long ass story, especially with Geronda Johnson Pace. Don't you know, one of the women that was in Robert's life, that they said he had her to transition to a boy because they're allegedly saying that Robert likes men. Okay, now they're trying to say he is gay, just like they did Michael Jackson, trying to tarnish his name in any form or fashion. So a lot of people don't know. For the new people that's trying to come in and see what the hell going on, we have Dominique Gardner. Okay, so this is the young lady that mother pretend like she was capped to save her, to snatch her daughter out of hotel and running down the street because they on the Lifetime of Lies and cameras following them every damn where, and she crying and hollering and she's snatching all over the place. Dominique, she does a video saying that it wasn't true, it wasn't even like that, you know, and things like that. I told y'all this is a long story. It goes on and on and on. So we have Geronda Johnson Pace said her and Dominique was lesbian lovers. Okay, they were lovers. They were together. So you have Michelle Kramer, Dominique Gardner's mother, cussed Geronda Pace ass out and said she don't know who she is effing with, and don't you say nothing. You know. And then, oh my God, like I told y'all, this story is a mess. And since we mentioned it, Michelle Kramer, Geronda Johnson Pace married to Dominique Gardner's damn cousin. It is a soap opera. You hear me? Okay? Head twisting. Okay? Eyes rolling, neck whirling problem. So the lesbian lovers, now she's married with, I guess, 2 or 3 kids to the cousin now. Okay? But let's get back to the past. So we have Geronda Johnson Pace hanging out with Bubba. Bubba invites them to the party. So we have the 2008 trial friend says, we went to Olympia Fields, all right. We went to that party. We went there. But Robert Sylvester Kelly asked for IDs. So Geronda Johnson Pace, she said, oh, I left my ID over my cousin. Over my uncle. Let's strike that cousin from this video. The uncle. Hey, don't that sound familiar? She said she had to go get some damn shoes. She said she had to go get some shoes, y'all. That's what she told the people on The View. Now, if y'all look at On The View, they told her, we need you to dress just like a little old bitty kid. Baby, she had them little 3 afro puffs on top of her head and had her eyes crossed. She took them glasses off. She didn't have no lipstick on. She didn't have no red wig on. She wasn't looking grown at all. She was sitting there with the little blouse on. Let's just say the left eye going to court type situation look, looking like a little innocent kid. So she, went there looking like that. But the trial friend said, oh, he didn't allow them to come. So Jermaine and AKA Bubba gave them both the 2008 trial friend and Jerronda Pace Robert's phone number. I found that very strange. You know what? That's suspect too. And I keep telling people that is suspect. So if you've been communicating with Jerronda Johnson Pace, I tell, the viewers, Bubba, why would you give him Robert's number? But all of y'all part of this get rich quick scheme, the rumors in Chicago, all you have to do is just have a picture of LL Cool J, and that's a long story too, y'all. We'll jump to that too sooner or later. So, just show a picture, just show a receipt, just show a concert ticket, just show him signing your autograph, just show him taking a picture with a fan, type lawsuits going on. So, did Bubba try to play Susan Logan in Daryl McDavis type thing? And so was Dominique Garner part of the plot? Because you know what, rumor has it and allegedly that Michelle Kramer was going with Robert's security guard. Didn't I tell y'all this was a hot mess? The mama was going with the damn security guard. Okay. And so when all the money and stuff ran out and Michelle Kramer, was, scooted out the bunch, Dominique decided to stay. She fell in love with him. So I don't know if she was part of the plot and she saw this nice person and she saw this lifestyle and the parties and the shopping and, and things like that. So y'all didn't know that Robert, he made sure, his friends were okay. They had money. Was giving them, $1,000 or $5,000. I heard some of them was getting $10,000 allowances and $25,000 allowances. Going shopping, going to the mall. Nobody wasn't trying to run off. Like I said before, you getting your nails done, you getting your toes done, and you didn't write on a piece of paper to Shang Chong and to tell her, hey, I'm kidnapped, I'm in basements, and I've been pissing on floors, and I've been pissing in Ziploc bags, and I've been in the black room, and I've been up under the basement, and I've been up under the floors, I've been all in the attic locked up, can you help me, ma'am? I need to get up out of this mess. Okay? I told y'all this is a mess. I can go on and on and on. My throat is so dry. It's so much mess in this lifetime of lies. I'm not even going to say a case, okay? Lifetime of lies. So, did we have Jerronda Johnson Pace, getting to the little fish to try to get a hold to the big fish? Because, that's how it works in the industry. You have these groupies, they get with the small fish just to hang out with the party in the parties, and so this entourage, the small fish, they don't care. They just excited that the group is looking at them because they hanging around a celebrity. They don't look into these people's background. They don't try to find out who they are. They just bring anybody around. Yeah, you can come to the party because all they want to do is screw. They want to screw. Okay, so did she finally go and get her little 2008 trial ID, wherever she got her ID? Demetrius Smith, did Deronda Johnson Pace meet you? Because, you know, you said you had to hook up on where to go to these gas stations, to the Department of Human Services, and everywhere else to get these IDs made. Did you go meet up with Demetrius Smith? Y'all, that's a long one too. Demetrius Smith was his first manager. He claimed to be one of his first managers around him that took Robert when he was a little kid, drive him around and sing to these young women and put them in the car. He also said, I stole Robert's money. I had his card. My wife and my kids, they didn't have anything. Christmas was coming up. I spent the money. F it. Okay. He said that on Nika at Night channel. She did an interview with him. Y'all can go and see that too. Like I said, a long story. So you got this man blaming Robert because his life is all over the place and stuff. And so he went on, you know, the Lifetime of Lies as well, because they promised him that, you know, his book will be off the shelf. You know, he wrote a book, he said a long time ago, you know, The Man Behind the Man, whatever the hell it was. I don't give a damn what kind of book it is. It was on the shelf collecting dust. So, you know, Lifetime of Lies sold these people these dreams and said, we will make y'all famous. You're going to be a model. You're going to be a singer. You're going to be an art girl. You're going to be an R&B singer. And you're going to be a rapper at the same time. You're going to be there. Oh, and you're going to be able to sell your stretch mark cream and your natural hair growth products. And, baby mama, you're going to have some, they going to really want you on these reality shows. They done kick you off your other show, but they going to really want you back now. So y'all come on into the Lifetime of Lies, you know, so we can make these millions off y'all and kick y'all ass to the curb and not get y'all no help that y'all say y'all need. But y'all act like y'all don't need no help. Y'all ain't asked us for no help. Y'all just happy, thought y'all were going to be some models and all that kind of stuff. And signed some deals and everything. So everything went left with them. So now they mad as hell. So now they trying to take it out on the bloggers. They trying to take it out on Robert Sylvester Kelly, you know, supporters and everything else. You know, like I said, it's a long, long story. You know, back to Deronda Johnson Pace and her triage. You know, and so I'm like, wait a minute. So you finally get into the party. You finally get in with the entourage. You know, and you with Bubba, and then so you was like, oh, Dominique, come with me, girl. You can come with me because I'm friends with Bubba, and Bubba is friends with R.Kelly, girl. They having a party. Come on up in here. So, you know, Dominique come bring her little cute self up in there, you know, with, you know, smiling and everything, and you know, and you know, she, you know, start conversating with Robert Sylvester Kelly. So while she conversating with Robert Sylvester Kelly, you know, I gotta use the bathroom, Bubba. Can I use the bathroom, Bubba? You know, that's Deronda Johnson Pace. So Deronda Johnson Pace, you know, she climbed all up in the man's bed. You know, she tiptoeing all up in his house. Even got it. Was it popcorn or was it belief? She had one of them damn dog popcorn in her arm. Okay, taking a selfie in the man's bed. What the hell? Stalkerish all the time. Okay, so then we got, you know, Dominique getting close to Robert and everything, and you know, and so then she get mad because she didn't get a hold to the fish, and her friend that came and snatched them up from her ass, and she was like, I'm finna sue his ass, I'm gonna sue him. You know, it's just like I said, you never know with these lying asses, okay? And I can call them a lie because I caught them in so many damn lies. Okay, and then you had Deronda Johnson Pace. She decides to go on her IG with the Savage wife, Tim Savage wife. That is a long story. That's you know, Tim Savage, the ones that, you know, ran up on the damn Daryl Johnson, supposed to be, you know, the person that was to, you know, come out and speak on the behalf of Robert. But hell, it's a long story with him too. Lord have mercy, Jesus. And so, oh my God, y'all, just so much. It's so much. Okay, let's go on. So she gets on there and she says, oh, I have lawsuits. I can prove that I so why would he pay me if he didn't do what he did? Girl, do you know how many people doing that? Okay, move on to the next one. Oh, so then she asking question. Oh, everybody lie about their age. That's normal for a teenager to lie about their age. Oh, but no, it's not normal to be lying about his age. So she was pulling out these little documents and stuff, and then she named how many different payments where she was getting her money from. You know, all kinds of LLCs. And then when she mentioned Daryl, McDavis. I said, look at this here. Dermot McDavis done put his hands in something else again. So, you know, Susan Logan and, you know, Dermot McDavis got their, you know what I'm saying, they're on 1/3 and then some. Okay. So, it's just a whole lot of mess. And then she said she had herpes. She said I got herpes, but my husband don't have herpes. The kids don't have herpes. Jermaine, do you have herpes, honey? Dominique, do you have herpes? Because see, she said Robert gave her herpes, and she said y'all was you know, gay lovers. So I mean, come on now, who else is running around here sword up? Okay, like I said, it's a long story. Okay, a long story. Okay, then now you know, oh my God, y'all. 31 minutes, and I haven't even scratched the surface, and I'm gonna have to get my ass up off here. But anywho, I'm gonna say to be continued. 31 minutes. 31 minutes. I swear I don't have enough time in the day to tell y'all all this mess. I'm gonna get back to Angela Claire and Cash Jones. Let me tell you about them before I leave, though, because there's just so much going on. Okay, so now let's go back and reminisce. So Cash Jones done got a cousin caught up, you know, in some mess. He is the one that said that he tried to set fire to the darn rental car. And I be damn, y'all, that's suspect too. You know, I always analyze and I look and I listen. I listen to the 911 call. The mama is going off. She done cussed Azriel out and there is a video of the sister going off on Azriel too, and they talking about, you know, Robert screaming at her and treating her wrong and stuff. It look like the abuse is going on in the Claris family, honey, because I can pull them receipts up where that sister was going off. She was going off about some damn French fries. Mom was telling her, I ain't got time for you. You better get your ass out of my face. Now, I ain't playing with you, Azriel. Don't you come in my face. You know, mama going all out, just wilding all out. And the mama said in the 911 call, it's the rental car was so effing crazy. It was the rental car. And I'm like, what was the rental car placed in? The rental car was parked by the mailbox, by the curve. All the cars that belonged to them was up close to the house. And then, so you pour gasoline around the house, but you skip the house, but your intention is to kill somebody. But you didn't like the house on fire. I guess he gets real good because he did any, many, mighty more. Any, many, mighty more. And just so happened to burn the rental car. Then we have Azriel. And I'm like, this is a red flag in itself. Then I said it wasn't going to be in alphabetical order, you guys. So, you know, we have the brother. The mother said that the brother was upstairs doing music. He was up at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so I'm looking at the house. I'm like, how was he looking out the window? Because I'm pretty sure if this person was a real good criminal, he ain't gonna make no noise. He gonna do what he gotta do, and he gonna take his ass home. But he see that man call himself setting the house on fire, and his daddy woke up. His daddy done running downstairs. The son, Azriel Clary brother, and her daddy Pappy run down the stairs, run after the man. So you have Azriel on the phone, and she talking on 911 call. Someone poured gasoline on our cars. I'm like, wait a damn minute. Now the detectives and the arsonist investigation crew has not came out and determined nothing. Okay, they didn't say it was gasoline. They didn't say it was, you know, anything, alcohol. But she said that the man poured gasoline on the car. Was you sitting out there looking, Azriel and brother? You know, was y'all just looking? And Cash Jones, did you set your brother up because you were so in love with him? Like I said, y'all, this is a soap opera. This is a soap opera. She said she would do anything for Angelo Clary because she loved him to death. And so I'm asking myself, and that suspect too, I'm like, why this woman so in love with you, Angelo Clary? That she is so much in love with you that, you know, we have Robert Sylvester Kelly is begging and pleading for her help. If you have any information, if you can help me to prove that these people are trying to set me up and they lying on me, please help me. And she know that what was going on. And she said, I was just so in love with him, and I just couldn't help Robert, and I'd rather go to the married ding-a-ling. I'd rather go to the married dingaling that's married to Alice. And I want him, and I didn't want to help this innocent man because I was just so in love with him. And he got my mind, and he played me so well that I went in and I was part of the mold. I helped him with different emails. I helped him with different screen names, so we can pretend like we're Robert Sylvester Kelly supporters that's threatening Azariel and threatening Geronda Johnson Pace. I was just so much in love. You know what I mean? So it's just a whole lot of mess. And so another red flag with this arsonist. They said Michael Williams, his clothes was on fire. So his clothes was on fire. And he was shooting at the same time. You was a bad man. You was a bad man. You picked the right car. You was able to have your sleeves on fire and turn around and shoot at the daddy, papa, and the brother. Ain't that something? This is something like a movie, y'all. But it's a man's life on the line behind this mess, okay? Behind some mess, okay? So then we have this Azariel that's been in this man's home that was an informant. And I can say from the beginning, I told people number 5 was Azariel Clary. You can go back and see that video. You can go back and see that video. I was having a conversation with someone, and I said that was Azariel. Some people said, oh, no, it's not her. She's still at home with him. I'm like, that's Azariel Clary, you guys. You know, but, you know, I'm just keeping my mouth closed, you know, trying to unfold behind the scenes to see how things was going to play out with, you know, see how things going to play out with Azariel. So, okay, so now we, you know, I'm just trying to figure, like, okay, they said that, you know, we're not going to let him out because he is a danger to society. He is a danger. He got all these people trying to burn up cars, trying to, you know, put bomb threats on people, trying to bribe, you know, $500,000, which he don't have. I will pay for my defense team before I pay, you know, Angelo Clary's, you know, stepdaughter, anything. So we got that going on. And so I'm like, wait a minute. Now, this is a darn red flag here. So if he was so much in a danger to her, why did the feds and the prosecutors leave her around Robert Sylvester Kelly? Okay, why? And so now we have this person that says she has text messages, she has videos, and we talking about Azariel Clary. And so, you know, I just like, okay, whatever. I did a demonstration to show you can get somebody's phone and text yourself from that person's phone and make them think that that person texts you something. You can call a number that you're familiar with the people in his entourage, and you can text them and tell them things like, you saw him beat me and you didn't do anything about it, because she's trying to, you know, make a case, okay? She's trying to make a case. You know, and it goes all the way now to now where we got people like Greenberg, you know, throwing people under the bus because Robert no longer wants him, and he's all on Donald Trump temper tantrum Twitter war, you know, because he is mad. And so now we have him trying to throw Nicole under the bus. Like I said, out of order, not in alphabetical order. Now we in the right now. So we got this woman, and then this is how well we were talking about Judge Ann. So you know, this was about Judge Ann, so but this is a whole story. So now, but it's so much more, so much more. So we got Greenberg hating, and so we have somebody to, you know, clarify some things and put some, you know, some receipts on how Greenberg is so shady, because he was fired, you know, from that law firm for not filing motions, just unprofessional conduct, just no professionalism going on with Greenberg, you know. So so now I'm gonna tell them that, you know, Nicole is linked up with you know, Richard Arline, And now they saying Richard Arline is the cousin. So now they saying that his attorney, Nicole, is trying to negotiate, for Robert, to Asriel Clary, and now they're trying to say she's tired with all this, it's just so much, you guys, so much. So I'm gonna have to just end this with that because my throat is dry. I am so sorry. This subject and this content was supposed to be about Judge Donnelly, Judge and Marie Donnelly. That's what it's supposed to be about. But I ended up having to come all the way around. It's just so much stuff, you guys. It is so much. It is so much. We just gonna have to do a run through one day on live. We have to do a run through, and then just have different people just pop on the panel and just we just go back and to the past and bring y'all way up to date, because it's just too much to be on here talking about it right now. But y'all please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for tuning in. I will see you later.
All you did was get rich out these war crimes. It's a conspiracy. Who's the terrorist? The U.S. government must be the terrorist.